Hey guys, Chandra here, and doing another reading today for for Sara, and just for the sake of privacy, because of the nature of the situation, I'm going to keep um, the other party's name kind of quiet, and I'm just going to call this person V. So Sara's got a question about V. About 2 years ago, she got with this guy. He's a married guy. And she became kind of exhausted with the situation. You know, it's like a three-party situation, she says. And then she got with someone else. And when she got with this other person and all, she ended up having a daughter with this other person. And so what Sara would like to know is if V misses her, and specifically, what are his feelings regarding her? So in this particular type of case, because it's sort of like a two-part question, and we do have sort of the nature of some background information going on, we're going to do a 7-card spread on this to kind of get some information. Now, the thing that I would say is, in a situation like this, when doing a reading, oftentimes it's too easy to become, caught up in judgment or caught up in letting other things get in the way of your judgment as a tarot reader. So it's imperative that, for this very reason and what have you, that you stay neutral on things. And just understand that this is our responsibility is not to ourselves, it's to Sara, to get her some answers and to try to help her. And that's absolutely what we're going to try and do today, is we're going to try to get her some help and figure out, what is the situation regarding this guy, and let our intuition do its job instead of, our critical thinking and things that would get in the way of that. So what I've been doing is I've been shuffling these cards, and I've been thinking very specifically about this question about the parties involved. And now we're going to cut the cards. Okay, the cards are cut, and now we're going to look at the past. Now, this past card is what the situation was at the time that this situation was going on. We'll get some clarity, more insight around that. So the past is giving us this here Page of Swords. Okay. Swords are normally about anything to do with thought or mental activity. It's about, oftentimes swords are equated with conflict. And a lot of people, when they see the swords in a spread, they get a little bit nervous or a little bit uptight or tense because of the nature of swords. You see someone coming at you with a sword, that's kind of scary. That's not your best day. The Page of Swords, though, if you look at this person, they're rather carefree. The page per se is normally someone that's, it's usually either a young woman or a young child, normally someone under the age of, maybe above the age of adolescence or around that age, or someone that's a young adult, that type of thing. So when you think of that, you think of someone that's carefree, making decisions that are rather carefree, not really, putting too much attention to it. And that was the past, and that was regarding the situation. The present situation is our next card. That's where we're at right now with things. Oh, wow. Another Swords. Now, this particular card right here is the Three of Swords. And a lot of times when people see this card, it's about heartache. It is about betrayal. It's about backstabbing. It's about, in this particular case, we have a pretty clear indication of what this is representing, don't we? And the cards don't lie. I mean, this stuff is just what it is. It's sort of like heartache, and it's about what happens after you've made a decision. So, for example, the Two of Swords usually precedes the Three of Swords, obviously, numerically. And in the Two of Swords, we would notice a young woman sitting on a bench with two swords crossed with a blindfold on, and that blindfold would actually be probably the one that she would have put on herself because she has this decision that she has to make. She doesn't really want to make the decision. She's blind to making the decision, and she's just hoping that the whole situation will just resolve itself, and it doesn't, and so she has to make a decision. And in this case, Sara made the decision to pursue someone else, move on with her life, have a daughter, that type of thing. But this is the repercussions of that. This is always about the things that we didn't know when we were making our decisions. And it can really be painful. Matters of the heart are really painful. And we've got rain in the background, so it's sort of like, yeah, it's just that really terrible feeling. In the near future, like moving on, like past this circumstance right now that we're dealing with, in the near future, and I can give you more insight on that on this in a minute when we pull the card, but in the near future, things are bound to change. Life always is changing around us. There's a ebb and flow to things, there's a cycle of things, and so this next card is one that is going to give us a little bit of relief from this, hopefully, in one way or the other. And we'll talk about that here in a moment. Okay. Now, this is the Eight of Wands. In the near future, we have some quick decisions that are going to need to be made. And that's revolving around this situation. The Eight of Wands is all about fast decisions, making a decision, sticking with it, and then just moving forward and going past that decision. So it looks like with this particular case, it looks like it's going to be in the near future. I would say within the next month or so. This next card that I'm going to pull is going to be the answer card. Now the answer card is going to be better utilized a little bit later on when we start to talk about the outcome of this whole spread. But for now, we'll look at it just to get a little perspective, and it's the Page of Pentacles. Okay. We had the Page of Swords earlier, swords being conflict, and then just kind of in our head, youthful thoughts, thinking and stuff of that nature. This page is also a young person also, and this person is holding a coin, a single coin. It's about youthfulness, it's about being grounded. We'll talk about it more here in a minute. The next card that we're going to pull is going to be the energy surrounding this heartache that maybe Sarah's feeling right now, that's going on. Maybe that this guy V may even be feeling a little bit of. And it's the High Priestess. Oh, wonderful card. The High Priestess, excuse me, the High Priestess, she doesn't really say much. If you went up to her, in front of her, you would find that she really doesn't say much, but what she would give you would be beyond belief. You would get so much insight, so much inspiration, so many answers presented to you in so few words. So she's the person that can say a lot without saying much. We have the moon in this card. If you look at this, we have the moon in there as well. The moon is about mystery. It's very hypnotizing. Nines a lot of times revolve around the moon a lot, like in the spreads. We don't have any of those in this particular spread now, but we do see that in this particular card, this is about the High Priestess. She tells us that we need to use our intuition, not necessarily our the things that are plaguing us. Like in this case and all these swords, it's our mind that's really getting the better of us. that's hurting us. Our emotions and our feelings and our mindset and everything like that is being affected. The high priestess, she's saying, use your intuition here. Use your best judgment. Use what that little inner voice inside of you is telling you. Now, the next card is kind of what Sara is hoping for, and this is going to have to do with what really the nature of the feelings that this guy V would be feeling for her, what her outcome, what kind of outcome she would like to see happen. It does revolve around this a lot, so maybe it's just to end this pain or the suffering that she's been feeling, with this mental conflict and emotional conflict. And let's just see what that is. Okay, wow. This is the death card. Now, death doesn't necessarily mean like someone's going to pass away or die or anything like that. It's not a real dire card per se like that. It can mean that in some spreads, but in this particular spread, I would tell you that this is more about change happening, one chapter closing, another one opening. You want closure is what it is. You want to end the heartache, the pain, the suffering, the emotions, the thoughts. You just want to get rid of that stuff. Let's find out what the outcome is. Oh. This card is the Hermit. The Hermit's about being alone. It's about taking some time for oneself. It's about introspection. Often when I look at this card, I'm thinking like rest and renewal. You need time to heal. You need time to just meditate, contemplate, get things out of your system, really relax, and really let new things start to birth inside of your mind, like new ideas start to come to you. And the idea here is what this Page of Pentacles is saying. It's really saying that, you can use like your groundedness, you can use, whatever financial resources that you have at your disposal now, you can use your youth and your vitality, and you can use these type of things to really help you get like into a better headspace. And that's going to really help you with this mental conflict and things here. So what are the cards actually telling me? What am I picking up here? Well, we know in the future, down the line here, you're going to have to make some decisions. We know some of the decision is going to have to deal with making some changes in your life. To make those changes, you'll want to use your intuition. You'll want to follow that little inner voice that tells you right from wrong. They call it a conscience. So the idea here is to avoid pain, and one way of doing that is to, get yourself into a nice quiet space, Get away from all of the things that are going on around you at the moment. Give yourself a break. And then just really relax. Give yourself that gift. The outcome here is being alone. So, if there is a chance of you and him getting back together, it's rather doubtful according to the cards. It looks almost like maybe there's some unhappiness that's going on in the present circumstances with where you're at. It could be with the relationship that you're in now, or a relationship that you've had more recently than not. It can also be that you're holding on to the old relationship with this guy whose name starts with V. but I don't really see it. I don't really see it going anywhere, beyond. I mean, it's already, you know, it's not there for you anymore. The decision's already been made. You've made your choice. There are certain consequences, known and unknown consequences, goodness knows, that we have to more or less live with. But the real positive thing to all of this is that, the real answer to getting alone and to finding that is probably going to be maybe work related or something along those lines. And that work related is going to allow you to get your youthfulness out there, to feel untrapped, maybe to feel more alive. And it's going to open up a lot more doors for you. And so this may seem on some level like, kind of a sad reading, or, you see cards like this, like the heartache card, and you see like the death, you see the Hermit being alone. A lot of times people don't realize the true value of these cards. They see them as normally negatives, but in all actuality, this is a really good spread, because you can look at this and say, okay, you know what? I have to just put one foot in front of the other. I have to continue moving on. I've got a lot of life to live. There's a lot of opportunities and a lot of life experiences still left to be had. And I think on some level you already know, like intuitively. I mean, what this card is showing me right here. You already know intuitively what's kind of going on with the situation. So to answer the question very directly and very specifically, because I don't like to leave people just kind of guessing, I would tell you that he's really not thinking about you so much. I mean, he's gone on, you made the decision to more or less walk into something else, and he's obviously left with his own decisions, and his family and his the person that he's with, and that's probably where his focus is at right now. So as far as if he misses you or anything like that, he may miss you, but it's not missing you in the sense of yearning to have you back in his life as it was before. It's probably just more of a contemplative kind of like wondering how you are. I feel that he cares about you, and that he does care, but I also feel as though he respects your decision, and he really wants you to be happy and to fall in alignment with that. The other thing that I want to tell you and I want to warn you about as far as the spread goes is when we come into the future and stuff with like swift decisions needing to be made, that's going to be right around the block for you. I mean, maybe within the next month or so. You could find yourself in a situation where you could leave your current situation and then try and go back to this guy, or find another relationship or another opportunity or something to cling on to. And if you do that, then the situation that you're in right now, whatever that is, it may not be there for you later on. Okay, so that's kind of the warning that I'd like to give you. Of course, if you are really wanting out of the situation that you're in, then chances are you've already made up your mind and you're going to follow your intuition, and things are going to work themselves out quite naturally for you. So that's the reading, and that's pretty much where we're at with things. I would say maybe if you wanted, like, I would encourage you maybe do like a follow-up reading with me, and maybe ask something a little bit more along the lines of like, maybe something more specific to, what your future looks like, or what what will be the situation with your current situation, or more about this here future that's in front of you, because we're looking at this spread here and we see that swift decisions are going to be made here pretty quick. We see that some things are coming to an end pretty quick, and that some change is bound to happen, like it or not. And then we see like there's a lot of youthful energy with these pages. Youthful energy is normally like associated with almost like the Fool in some of these spreads. With the Fool, it's somebody that's young. They don't have a lot of life experiences. They don't know exactly what's in front of them. They're a little bit naive when it comes to certain things, but that can also be very empowering because it allows them to do things that otherwise people that have experience or that have lived their life for a long time probably would just not do. And they wouldn't do it maybe because of fear, because of past experiences that they've had, because you maybe haven't had these type of experiences, and that's why you may be a little bit naive with it. These type of experiences may actually, be life-changing for you and very positive experiences. I mean, we just don't know. And that's why I would say maybe, check with me on maybe getting like another reading or something. I mean, this Hermit card too. I mean, this could go two ways. It could be, and I'm getting a sense that it would maybe go both ways. It could be like, if you try to get with him, maybe his situation ends up like he's alone and you're alone. That wouldn't be very, very great for either one of you. It could also mean very well that, that you decide to step out of the current relationship that you're in to maybe pursue something else, and then that leaves you more in this state of having to do some introspection and trying to find yourself and, find out what it is you're really after. And if you need help with any of that, I'm your tarot coach, so please, reach out to me. I'll be glad to help you any way I can. And also, anyone else that may be watching this video that is psychic, intuitive, does tarot, divination of any type, that has any other perspective that they'd like to add to maybe help Sara, please feel welcome to, check the chat below and put it in the in the chat so that she can maybe get some more information or some more perspective on it. I'm all about sharing information and making it accessible to everyone. So thank you so much, Sara. I hope that you've enjoyed the reading. It's a really good reading overall. I hope it's shed some light on things for you. The best thing to take away from any kind of tarot card reading, regardless if it's what you want to hear or not necessarily what you want to hear, it's that it gives you some perspective so that you can then start to make decisions that are going to be in your best interest and in the best interest of you, your family, and all parties. And so that's really it. Instead of just, jumping out there and trying to do just whatever, this gives you kind of some grounding. And that was really powerful, that one card that you got. This Page of Pentacles, being really grounded and maybe in career pursuits or something to do with money or, something to do with maybe travel I'm picking up or something along those lines. But anyways, there you go. I've enjoyed doing the reading. I hope that you have a wonderful day. Thank you so much.